score this field goal.
Oh, they will. They will. Don't worry. I have to. What is with the bright orange uniforms?
This is exactly
man?
what I was talking about. They look like a bunch of convicts.
My God.
You know?
Go clean the highway.
We'll see what happens here. We definitely need Pittsburgh to lose. We want Denver to. Denver's. They're playing in Denver.
Yep.
They're playing in Denver.
And you can't breathe in Denver because the only thing you can breathe is marijuana. I guarantee. I told you about that trip.
Marijuana, yeah.
You know, when I went out there for my sister's funeral, that's all I smelt was in the hotel was the marijuana.
Jeez.
And they give you a thing signing it saying you won't smoke weed in the room.
Right.
I go, well, this whole fucking hotel room smells like weed, so you got to start surcharging people. And I get in the elevator, weed, hallway, weed, room, weed. I'm like,
I'd be dead in 5 minutes.
It's everywhere. Massachusetts finally opened up. Massachusetts, finally passed a law where now you can buy recreational marijuana. Sales have been crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can find that story. We'll talk about that too. And
I just don't understand the laws. All right, maybe if you're listening, explain this to me. Why is it that I can sit here and drink a beer legally, but I can't smoke a doobie legally with a CDL license?
I don't know. You tell me.
Like if I get drug tested and they find weed in my system, I'm done. You know.
As far as I understand, those laws are actually changing.
For just Massachusetts, so only the CDL holder in Massachusetts is okay.
Yes. Once it becomes legalized, they cannot hold it against you.
Okay. That's a hot topic right now because
unless it's I've heard though unless it's a federal company, because I have a friend that works. Oh my gosh, what's the it's not Eversource, the gas company that's on
Liberty Utilities?
No, the other one.
The one in
National Grid.
National Grid.
Yes, he had, before Massachusetts made it legal, he had a card to smoke, and his job still would not allow him to use it, even though he had the card. So there was debate. Why is that? Is it because it's the company's federally mandated and it goes beyond the state, or whatever? So yeah.
I mean, I understand that marijuana has a lot of benefits to certain people that have diseases. But the other thing that you also have to keep in mind is that there's a lot of people that are also allergic to it or can't stand the smell of marijuana. Mm-hmm. Where do you draw the line? Where is the balance, You're
going to offend people with drugs. You're going to offend people with alcohol, with liquor. No matter what, where, or when, somebody's going to be offended or affected by it, that you can't go around it. But I'm talking legal aspect of it. You know what? What if weed makes me drive better? I mean, can it?
Well, there's that whole debate as well, that a lot of people like, well, the thing is there has to be certain incapacitation that must decrease. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your reflexes when you're driving.
I'm just saying for medical people are smoking medical marijuana for their back or their brain,
cancer,
or
lupus, cystic fibrosis. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of benefits. I know that a lot of people use the CBD oil for certain things. I know that has some big benefits. But that's different than actually the medical marijuana or dispensaries that recreational marijuana would entail. But again, where do you draw that line?
But say I get done driving and I go home and I light up a J and it's my Tylenol, it's my beer, it gets rid of all my PSD stuff or whatever, that post-traumatic stuff that I have during the day, and it chills me out. So come around 6 o'clock in the morning, I go get drug tested. If I had a beer wouldn't be in my system. But the weed is probably still going to be in there.
It definitely would be. Mm-hmm. But the thing is again, it depends on where you live, what state you're on. Is it for recreation? What's your job? Does your job entail that you can't smoke, marijuana, or because you're going to get drug tested every 30, 60 days, whatever? You get some you get some ramifications.
I think because
go ahead.
Because our licenses are federal. It's not a state thing. It's a federal thing. So until the federal government comes in and goes, all right, you CDL holders will allow you to smoke weed, but there's stipulations and all this other levels and crap like that.
Speaking of stipulations, here's the thing. Even if, federal law comes on and says, listen, recreational marijuana is legal, you can do whatever you need to do, it still needs to go down to the state level, and they have to still vote on it too, regardless of what the federal says. Mm-hmm. So you have to think about that.
Each company is allowed to make their own decision too, whether or not they're accepting it.
But then you're talking lawsuits, because then.
No, I agree. I agree, because again, imagine you working in Massachusetts now. Mm-hmm. Recreational marijuana is legal, but there are certain companies that says, listen, if you're smoking medical or recreational marijuana, and we do some drug testing on you, mm-hmm. and it's still according to our company policy, most likely you'll get fired.
Mm-hmm. There's companies that don't let you smoke cigarettes.
Yeah,
you can't have nicotine in your body.
You're shitting me.
No.
But cigarettes are legal. How is that even?
Well, again, so isn't alcohol. So isn't dude? This is the world that we live in now. Yeah. This is it. Again, where is the common sense? Where do you draw that line of common sense? Where do you falter? Where do you weigh in on the person that smokes it, drinks it, eats it? Or are you for the company that says this is the way it is?
Fidelity Investments. You cannot smoke a cigarette anywhere on their property. If they find you smoking even if you're in your car.
That's why everybody at Fidelity is a miserable asshole. Because they don't let them smoke.
If you're found smoking a cigarette, even in your car, you're immediately fired.
Wow.
What the hell? Unbelievable.
You cannot smoke anywhere on the property.
You can have sex. I'm pretty sure you can have sex in your car. Oh, that's not a problem. That's okay. That's not on, you're on your break. That's cool. That's
Why are you all sweaty? I'm having sex on my break, buddy. All right, as long as you don't have a cigarette.
But I need that cigarette after sex. Now what? What do I do? I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I went off on a tangent again. I went off on that highway. All right, anyway. Aaron, let's talk about this story that I know a lot of people are listening to. Let's talk about. I'm going to call him out. I really don't. Again, I really don't give a fuck. Honestly, there's this guy.
Don't even get me started.
His name is Alex Morris. He is from, according to this, he says that he's from Richmond, Virginia, but I know that he lives in Nashua. And there was a conversation that was happening between him and the father. Is that correct? The father of the two girls?
The father of the two girls, yep.
And then, go ahead. I want you to go ahead and continue.
Okay, so, this kid, Alex, actually knows the girls very well. They are two 6-year-old girls. They are the sweetest kids you will ever meet. Very respectful. As a matter of fact, they were our adopted family last year that we adopted as part of the Perfect Entertainment crew. And we got them, gifts and stuff last year for Christmas. So we, became very close with these little girls, and they're just the sweetest things ever, honestly. But they both have CF. So they both have cystic fibrosis. The father was talking to this Alex kid about. I guess they're friends. And the conversation started something with that they disagreed on lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, whatever you want to call it. And so this Alex kid actually sent him Facebook messages. And I'm just going to go through it and read. This one's from Alex. It says, I'm not threatened by by some see you soon shit. I'm sorry if you think you're scary, but you're not. Be careful, because if you worry too much about me, you'll miss the funeral. And the father goes, yep, okay. And he goes, I'm sorry. Alex replies, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have your stance on gay, lesbian. I have mine on freaks with terminal born diseases. You're freaks because there's something developmentally wrong with them, and they're useless to society. So say goodbye.
Then the father chimes in and he goes, "Are you talking about my daughters again?" And he's like, "No, absolutely not." And obviously that was very sarcastic.
And then it says something. Alex replies, I was adopted by my parents, I was adopted by my parents, not out of what to adopt, but
this
out
guy
of
doesn't make any sense. He sounds like a complete moron anyway.
My mom was.
Where's he from?
He's from Nashua.
Local.
My mother was infertile. So go take your sad little terminally ill kids, and you might as well just kill them off now because they're not going to do anything anyway. I was put up for adoption because my parents couldn't afford a 9th kid. And the father responds, "LOL." And he goes, and then Alex responds, "So when's the funeral?"
So you have people out there that do not understand or have ignorant thoughts on certain subjects of this. I mean, gay and lesbian, that's one thing. I understand that. If gays and lesbians want to get married, you guys want to live with, the same-sex partners, whatever, you're more entitled than that. You want to be more, you want to have that kind of life. I really don't give a shit. But when you have something like this, talking about 2 sweet kids that didn't deserve to be born with a disease like cystic fibrosis, they could still live a full life.
They could still live a completely normal life.
And still, give into society, live normal lives, as you mentioned. Who knows what these kids could do? And to see something like this from this complete moron, it's just complete ignorance. Complete ignorance.
This is why I hate people, because we live in a world that it's all internet, all in-your-face bullshit, and these trolls, scumbags, ass puppies, whatever the fuck they're called, go on there and stir the pot. You know what? And sometimes they want to stir the wrong pot. And this is where people are going to get hurt, because you're going to say that you insult your family members or do anything like that, man, dude, you're opening up a Pandora's box, because you don't know who the fuck you're fucking with, man.
It is easier for people to use social media now to bully, to troll, instead of just face-to-face anymore. When I was growing up, bully, it was in your face. You didn't go home and have to deal with all that on social media, and people just, now it's 24/7.
You duked it out in the freaking parking lot of the school.
Absolutely,
and got on with your life.
And this is what's happening was, with all these damn shootings, I don't think we're all getting the real stories. This is one of my biggest fears when I was working at McGarvey's, that, a disgruntled patron would come back and fucking do some stupid shit.
And it's still an issue today, no matter where you work. Mm-hmm. You hear the disgruntled, male, the post office employee that happens. Not to put that. What do I want to call it? We have that biased type of interface that we have on certain people, but it can happen anywhere. Even in your situation, when you had to take care of Providence, Rhode Island, and you have these certain people, your lives were at stake, covering these certain individuals that needed delivery from your services as well.
But how do you publicly shame this ass fuck? And legally,
and this is
legally, without being arrested or without I don't even know the word.
Yeah.
But
well, it was kind of funny because people started sending him messages being like, you're a douche, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then his response back was,